published their names, their phone numbers, their addresses, personally identifying information. If Donald Trump can get $10 billion theoretically from the Department of Justice, how much should these people get for a far worse violation of their privacy rights and a far greater danger established to them in their lives?
Do you even know who Chase Mulligan is? You're so obsessed with, you don't, do you?
I'm going to teach you the rules again. You're the Attorney General of the United States. We have rules here.
You're obsessed with him.
You're the Attorney General of the United States.
With obsessed with Donald Trump. You have Trump derangement syndrome.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like my time restored. I'd like my time restored.
You could feel the tension building with every unanswered question. This wasn't about politics. This was about something far more fundamental. During a congressional hearing, Congressman Jamie Raskin pressed Attorney General Pam Bondi on the DOJ's handling of the Epstein Files. Specifically, how important conspirators' names were redacted. What unfolded is exactly why so many Americans say they've grown skeptical of those Trump has appointed to lead. See what happened next.
In your district, and you don't even know about it, about keeping children safe from online predators.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Maryland. The gentleman can proceed.
Yeah, and I want the whole country to look at this, because this is the Attorney General of the United States whose job is law enforcement. We've never had a witness who has misunderstood our rules and been unable to conform his or her conduct to our rules before. We have only 5 minutes. And so we use our time to ask you specific questions.
How long are you giving me to answer?
Excuse me, I'm not yielding to you right now. I'd like that second restored too. So, Ms. Bondi, the way it works is we ask you a question and you answer it. And if you go off on a wild goose chase, another tangent, you start reading statistics or you start talking about stuff going on in our district. And by the way, I invite you to my district. Come to my district, but that's not what we're here to do today. Okay, so, and you do that, then we're allowed to say we reclaim our time. At that point, you have to be quiet. You have no choice. You have to be quiet. So I hope you understand the rule at this point. Now, here's what I want to ask you. You're in law enforcement. We've seen all kinds of evidence of crimes. And when we go over to the Department of Justice for the 4 computers for every member of Congress, we see more evidence of crimes. Will you create a joint task force of the Department of Justice and governors and state attorney generals and district attorneys across the country to investigate the crimes that have taken place against these victims and more than 1,000 like them? The DOJ is not doing its job. Will you create a task force with state and local law enforcement to make that happen?
Gentlelady can respond if she wants to.
Thank you, Chairman. He called Chase Mulligan a wild goose chase and didn't even know who he was. He is a defendant in your own district who preyed on girls.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, you know what? If he were part of the Epstein investigation, you wouldn't do anything about it.
Online chat rooms and committed sextortion. Yet he didn't even know in your tiny little district who he was.
Mr. Chairman, she's embarrassing you.
He's about to be
This is your committee, and she is embarrassing you.
Shame on you.
The time of the gentleman has expired. I would remind the committee that last Congress, Secretary Mayorkas was here numerous times.
Lawyer's job in America, because your mission is justice and your clients are the American people. But to promote justice for the people, you've got to listen to the victims, like the women seated behind you today. Those are just some of the hundreds of survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's global sex trafficking ring who are demanding that the truth be told and are demanding accountability for the abusers who trafficked and raped them. You still haven't met with these survivors. So with their permission, let me introduce to you the survivors and late survivors' family members who are present today. There's Teresa Helm. There's Jess Michaels, Laura Bloom McGee, Danny Bensky, Liz Stein, Marina Lacerda, Sky and Amanda Roberts, who are the family of the late Virginia Giuffre, Charlene Richard, and Lisa Phillips. Now, you're not showing a lot of interest in the victims, Madam Attorney General, whether it's Epstein's human trafficking ring or the homicidal governmental violence against citizens in Minneapolis. As Attorney General, you're siding with the perpetrators and you're ignoring the victims. That will be your legacy unless you act quickly to change course. You're running a massive Epstein cover-up right out of the Department of Justice. You've been ordered by subpoena and by Congress to turn over 6 million documents, photographs, and videos in the Epstein Files, but you've turned over only 3 million. You say you're not turning over the other 3 million because they're somehow duplicative, but we know that there are actual memos of victim statements in there, and you also took down the Department of Justice's prosecution memo from 2019. So it's clearly not all duplicative, but even if it were, why not release it? Just release all the duplicative stuff. In the half you did produce, you redacted the names of abusers, enablers, accomplices, and co-conspirators, apparently to spare them embarrassment and disgrace, which is the exact opposite of what the law ordered you to do. Even worse, you shockingly failed to redact many of the victims' names, which is what you were ordered to do by Congress. Some of the victims had come forward publicly, but many had not. Many had kept their torment private, even from family and friends, but you published their names, their identities, their images on thousands of pages for the world to see. So you ignored the law, and even with over 100,000 employees at your disposal, you acted with some mixture of staggering incompetence, cold indifference, and jaded cruelty towards more than 1,000 victims raped, abused, and trafficked. This performance screams cover-up.
It starts with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. The purpose was straightforward. Redact the names and identities of victims and survivors. Expose the names of those connected to the crimes. But according to Raskin's line of questioning, that's not what happened. The names of alleged co-conspirators? Redacted. Hidden. The identities of victims? Revealed for the world to see. Visible. From where Raskin stood, that reversal raised one unavoidable question. Why? Raskin didn't lead with outrage. He led with the statute. The Transparency Act was built to correct a long-standing imbalance, where victims in high-profile cases were often silenced while powerful figures remained shielded. So his questioning was precise. If the law requires victims to be protected, why were their names visible? If the law was designed to expose those connected to the crimes, why were alleged co-conspirators unnamed? Bondi responded with procedural reasoning. She deflected, danced around the question, and used ongoing investigations, legal standards, privacy protocols as excuses. While those are legitimate considerations, federal redactions follow established frameworks. They are not arbitrary. But that's where things get interesting, because Raskin wasn't only questioning legality. He was questioning intent. When wealthy, well-connected individuals remain unnamed, shielded, and victims' identities surface, it becomes impossible to dismiss. And in a case already carrying the weight of public suspicion, power, money, elite access, when transparency appears inverted, it doesn't just raise eyebrows. It reinforces the fear that influence still bends the rules. Now Bondi maintained that the department operated within established legal frameworks. But each time her response leaned into technical language, the core question remained, who is being protected? And why does it look this way? That's what made this exchange significant. It wasn't loud. It wasn't a performance. It was controlled pressure. Procedure standing against public confidence. And sitting in between are the American people, watching, waiting for answers. Because when something is clear as protect victims, expose perpetrators appears reversed, frustration doesn't simmer. It compounds. By the end of the exchange, one thing remained unresolved. Did the Department of Justice faithfully execute the spirit of the Transparency Act? Or did its redaction decisions blur the line between protection and concealment? That question still remains. Whatever your view of Raskin, he drew a clear line in that hearing room. Transparency must protect the vulnerable, not the powerful. Because when that line appears compromised, trust doesn't bend gradually. It fractures. And when that happens, accountability becomes everything. These are the exchanges that reveal more than any prepared speech ever could. If you want more focused breakdowns of the moments that test real accountability, like subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.